Hi all, welcome to Dragon's Cave and welcome to CraftFlix. Now CraftFlix is a collaboration organised by Nikki and Kirk at Koenig's Creations, and it's basically film related. Now anybody who knows me will tell you I am a Harry Potter fan. So I have got from Into Resin this lovely sorting hat trinket box. So I'm going to move the hat to one side because I want to start working on this. And this is kind of like a brick effect, which I assume is supposed to represent the entrance to Diagon Alley. And of course I haven't opened my mica powders. I've already got my gloves on today because I'm in the middle of organising my craft rooms and my hands are a mess. That's one. Diagon Alley. The entrance to Diagon Alley is a brick wall behind a pub. And it's an old brick wall. So I want to kind of make it patchy, sort of red brick and browns. But what I'm going to do is turn this inside out. Don't worry, I'll speed you through this part. So I'm going to first of all do it mostly in this one. And I'm just going to splatter it on. So that's that one. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this on. Just here and there. Then I'm going to take a large brush and I'm going to kind of just work it in. May need to put some more on here. I'm not sure if I've got enough coverage, but we shall see. Actually pretty well covered. I am going to just a little more on the inside and drip it all over the base of my resinous C3 mat. Oops, way too much there. Knock most of that off. Okay, so that is now completely covered. I'm going to turn this back the right way around, hopefully without knocking too much powder off it. Once I got my gloves on, that should help stop. There's no oils from my hands to hold the powder away. Right, so I'm going to clean this up and I'll be right back. See you in a sec. Right, I've mixed up roughly 200 grams of resin pro eye crystal. There's around about 80 grams or so in this cap because I'm going to use filler, because otherwise this mould is far too deep for my resin. It will not like it and we'll end up with another flash cure. But for the hat I'm going with this chestnut brown mica powder. colour it first and then add the filler. The sorting hat is described as being old, dirty and torn. So although initially I was going to use black, I thought, well, that's not going to look right, is it? That's going to look far too clean and new. Give that a quick squirt of isopropyl alcohol in case there's any bubbles from mixed powder. So first of all, I'm going to put a tiny drop in the bottom. And give it a bit of a squish in case there's any places where bubbles could burst in there. Now I'm going to start adding, it's basically the black decorative kind of sand, I suppose, really. I've used this many times before. Although it's not sensible to pour that much in one go. You'd add it gradually. But because I'm a bit of a div, and I'm in a bit of a hurry as well, I know some people prefer add the resin to the stones. I prefer it to do the other way because it's much easier to prevent bubbles. I find it mixes better this way. So I'm going to start pouring this in now. Very thick and gloopy, exactly as I wanted it to be. And very clearly I've got far too much here. I'll have a good guesstimate. And what I want to do is to go round here and make sure that I don't have any bubbles trapped in the rim, as there are here. You'll see a few bubbles. Smallish ones, but bubbles nonetheless. So I'm going to take a little time, go right around. Now, one of the problems with using this filler is that it does kind of, I suppose the best way to describe it is fizz, as it releases air bubbles, which will mean that I will have some trapped because they will build up again after I've got rid of them. I don't know if you can already see on the top, looking kind of slightly fuzzy. That bubble there does not want to come out. I filled it a little too much, really. I should have been more careful. Should have got more bubbles out before popping it up. I'm going to give it a quick squirt. That should... It's again, the bubbles are still rising. Or ideally, you should put the resin with the filler in it to one side for a while and let it kind of degas. But unfortunately, I am far too impatient for my own good. So I'm going to leave that a little while before I top it up. Grab a tissue and wipe off my gloves. And I've dripped onto the lid of the resiners, and the drip has gone precisely in the wrong place. It's gone into one of the air vents. Get that off there. Perfectly fine to leave that because you just pick that off when it's dry. It's quite satisfying actually. You can't really do that with the lid because it's not silicone, it's plastic and the resin will stick. Right, so I'm just going to move this to the side. A little wipe. Oh, good grief. I'm making more mess than I'm clearing up. Right. Get the lid on the filler and put it out of the way before I knock it over. And now I'm going to use the rest of my resin. I'm looking at it thinking I might not quite have enough there, but we shall see. So I'm just going to use standard black mica powder for this. And I need to put this in a pot because it's in a bag and I hate writing with these bags. Get this mixed in. That seems to be sufficiently mixed. May need to mix up a little more. Let's get this in first and see how we're doing. Oh no. Actually, that wasn't too bad of an estimate. Not going to have very much left over at all. Yeah, hardly anything left. I'm very pleased with that. I'm going to keep an eye on this for a little while to do with any bubbles that rise up. And then I'm going to pop it in the G3, or put the lid on the G3. And I will come back when we're ready to demold. See you in a bit. Hi all, it's demolding time. So with the leftovers from this, I poured this mould. Now I've been searching for this for months. And it should have been in my box of dragons, but it was actually in my Halloween box. I absolutely love this thing. The colours come out well, so bodes well for this one. But I'm going to start with this piece, just because. Oh. Hands are not functioning too well this morning. Trying to release the suction from the bottom of the mould. Oh, there we go. Yes, I have got some bubbles in there. But this one was just straightforward resin. There was no filler in here. The colours have come out well, I think. Maybe should have gone a bit more with the red rather than the greenish, which I thought was more brown than it is, but never mind. And I can see already that I've got a couple of little bubblers in here that I'm going to have to repair. But that's always a risk when you use sand as a filler, because it does carry on releasing air from the sand for a while. Potentially I should have put it through the debubbler, but it's a little late to think about that now. Oh, sorry, I got to put it up against my body to get the edge off. There we go. And there we have it. I think the colour has worked fantastically well. So lovely and shiny. Yeah, we've got a couple of little bubblers here and there, but he's supposed to be old and tatty and broken anyway. Let's see how it fits together. Yeah, I think that's good. But I think this needs a little more. What I'm going to do, I've got a grey acrylic paint, and I'm just going to kind of rub it over so that it looks like cement, hopefully. Let me grab a couple of wet wipes ready. Far too much on there. But it's worked. A little bit I need to go over again because I didn't quite get it all the way around. And again, way too much coming out of the tube. Rubbing it in because I needed to go in all directions. Wipe off the excess quickly before it starts drying. I just think that gives it a little bit, more, looks like more like a wall, really. So while that is drying, now the hat itself doesn't really have a face as such. Let me get the lid back on my paint before I forget. Kind of got a face. Got the tear near the brim, which looked like a mouth, according to. So I'm going to grab an acrylic pen. I think I'm just going to go with black, because I don't think. I'm going to try a dark brown, but I don't think it'll show up very well. Should have got these ready before I started filming, but no matter. We are there. Now I'll grab the grey instead of the brown. Yeah, so this is the darkest brown I've got. I'm not sure that's going to look right, but let's give it a go. Oh no, That's definitely too light. So, wipe that away quickly. Add some fishing roll. Make sure it's dry before I attempt that again with the black. Look, I've got it all over myself now as well. I think the black will look better simply because it'll look more like shading in the hole. The hat doesn't have pupils in his eyes. And I'm going to do the same in the mouth. The mouth that isn't a mouth. And then there is a band around the hat, so I'm going to paint that black as well. I try and make sure I grab hold of it and don't grab hold of where the wet acrylic paint is. Trying to do this as very carefully as I can. Actually quite difficult to see what I'm doing because it's so shiny. The reflection is bothering me. Really like these pens because they have the brush tips. They're much easier. Get a neat finish. And there we are. I'm not sure how well you can actually see that. But I also don't want it to be too obvious. And I think we're finished. Hopefully you'll see it better in the photographs at the end, which I will do as soon as the acrylic paint on the base dries. Hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give us a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please consider it. It'll never cost you anything and it's the best free way to support my channel. If you actually want to spend money, then I do have Buy Me a Coffee and an Amazon wish list in my description box. Don't forget, check out the rest of the playlist. There's going to be some fantastic artists in there. And I will see you all again very soon for the next one. Bye.
In the dragon's cave, the magic's hand made every pore and paint a a dragon's flame, shaping little wonders. Nothing's ever the same. Come along and play. Ignite your name in the dragon's cave. The magic's handmade. Every pore and paint, a memory's laid from glitter